Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's Charles, and I have another bunch of questions here from a gentleman, and he's giving me a bunch of crap, man, because I haven't done his video yet to answer his questions. So let me begin here really quickly. Charles, how are you? I'm fine, sir. I'm Martin C. from the USA, Sacramento, California. I'm 24 years old. I sing cover songs and videos and do video game reviews, mostly on Martin007 from YouTube. Question number one. What do you think about Serbian food compared to American food? Well, you know, there's a pretty big difference. American food, we have such a variety of different foods, you know. We have a mixture and people start combining Mexican type foods with different types of foods and making their own. Where I'm from in the middle of the USA, we eat a lot of casseroles, roasts, you know, stews, things like that, chili, things like that. Over here it's very, very different. They don't eat at home a lot of the things that we do, you know. Here in Serbia, a good way to describe their food, it's really, really good, and a lot of people come here just for the food. They've had a ton of influence from the Turks. The Turks came here and were here for 400 to 500 years in this area. So a lot of the cevapi and pljeskavica, the way it's made, and burek and stuff has influences from Turkey, of course. And but the Serbians have their own little style of making it. The things here that really differentiate Serbian food, a lot of meals, when you eat a meal in Serbia, it always starts out with soup. You eat a bowl of soup or two first, and then you eat your regular course meal. And we don't do, where I'm from in the USA, we never do that. They also eat a lot of bread here, like I've stated before. Bread goes with everything, a big chunk of bread. They eat lots of pork here. You know, I've got vegetarian friends here. There was a guy from, played for Serbian Mitrovica. He was an American that was a vegetarian here. And it's not as easy to find. I mean, when you go to places, they don't really, unless the bigger cities, of course, they have vegetarian menus, like any big city in the world, but a lot of the smaller ones do not, you know. So if you're vegetarian, it's a little more difficult here in Serbia. They eat a lot of pepper. The two biggest different fucking factors, Jesus, would be the two ways to differentiate. There you go, Charlie, thank you. Would be they eat a lot of peppers here. Red peppers are very, very common. Paprika. Now, they eat a lot of those and a lot of things, you know, and that's something we don't eat a whole lot in the USA. It's not the real hot ones. It's just those big red ones that are kind of a sweet type flavor, and they're condiments. You know, the condiments are really, really good. Ivar's like a peppery mix stuff. Urna base, it's cheese and peppers. They've got kaimak, which is like a sour cream type thing. And they've got really, really tasty. Lutenica, it's a really spicy one that's hot. So they've got really good things here, and their food is one of the best things about Serbia. You know, pastries, they have tons of pastries, really good sweets. A lot of Serbian families, when you go to their house, they have these little sweet things, many different shapes and flavors. And so it's really different. You know, you don't find a lot of Mexican food here, you know, any Mexican influence type foods. There's Chinese restaurants here, of course, in the bigger cities. But, you know, it's good stuff. You're going to love it, man. Next one, what are your thoughts on the nightlife party scene in Serbia? Do they party hard every night, 2 to 3 days a week, or something like that? Well, the nightlife in Serbia is known all around Europe, man. I mean, there's been a couple different magazines that's rated Serbia the #1 party city in all of Europe. And a lot of people go here in the summer, in the spring and summer, along the Danube River. And in Belgrade, they've got all these boats. It's like a party boat. It's like a bar that's on a boat. They call it a splav. And each splav there has another downtown location. So in the summer, everybody goes to the splavs. They're full. They're open all night long. Some of them are really expensive to get in, and a beer is like expensive. But a lot of the foreigners from Europe come here to party because for them it's still a little cheap, and it's a wild, wild, wild time. In the wintertime, they close down the party ones, and it's all downtown. And the bars and stuff here are always full. I mean, I've said this before in my videos. If you go at 8 o'clock in the morning to a little cafe, it's full, and it's full till they close at night, you know. Yesterday it was a beautiful, gorgeous day here in Serbia, and this beautiful young lady and this friend of mine, we went walking through Kalemegdan, the big fortress. We was going to go to a cafe there. Absolutely packed. There was people everywhere. We went to the center. Everything was full. So Serbians don't have money, but they like to spend money and they like to socialize with people. And so they party a lot, you know. Here in the smaller town of Pančevo even, I'm getting ready to go uptown to upload this video, and everything will be full. And right now I said good morning, but it's actually 1:25 p.m. and it'll be hard to find a place to sit down usually. And you know, it's not like they get knocked down, drag out, drunk. But a lot of them just have, you know, a little bit of money. They'll go in there and buy one beer and sit for hours, talk to their friends or dance and stuff, you know. So it's a fun party place, really. The best thing here, if you come to Serbia, the biggest hit and the most popular thing currently, the new crave is kafanas. And a kafana is like kind of like a pub type atmosphere that they play live music and they have food sometimes, small foods like dried meats and things like that, and cheeses and stuff. But it's really, really nice. You've got these old Serbians playing these old traditional music. All the younger people, the older people are singing the songs and getting into it. It's a wonderful experience. So that's really it. Nightlife rocks, man. Number 3, do I need a visa or some kind of warranty for a month, or can I visit Serbia like a tourist? I'll eventually go there after I go to the UK, Ireland, Holland, Sweden. I have some fans there, like hundreds of them, and all while traveling around Europe when I get the chance. You don't need anything to come here to Serbia. If you're coming from Sweden or wherever you're going there, one of those places, you can just take a bus into Serbia. You get to all that's in the European Union, so you don't have that many border checkpoints, but you will when you get to Serbia. They'll get on the bus. If you take the bus, they'll walk through, they'll collect everybody's passport, take it off the bus, scan it, stamp it, sometimes bring it back to you, and you're free to go. You get 90 days here in Serbia. They don't ask you any questions. But once you get here, like I've stated, you have 24 hours. If you're not staying in a hotel, if you're staying with a regular human being or somebody, you need to go within 24 hours and go to the police station, and they give you a white piece of paper, and they can fine you if you don't have it. And that's the same with Croatia, Slovenia, and a lot of these old former Yugoslavian countries do that. You have to go to the police station and register that you're there in the country. It's kind of a creepy feeling, really. I've never had to do that anywhere else on my travels. But you do that, you get 90 days here in Serbia. You don't have to do anything in advance, you know. Even if you fly in from Sweden, fly into Nikola Tesla Airport, you go right up to customs, they stamp your passport, they might ask you what you're doing here, you say tourism. Don't tell them you're a spy or anything, or you'll probably get shot and sent to some little prison, who knows, but just tell them you're a tourist, they'll stamp it, you get 90 days, you go on your merry way, man. So it's fun, good time, you're gonna love it, dude, really. How much money will it cost, the trip to Serbia cost me? Let's say a hotel and food. I will mostly go sightseeing and check out their nightclubs. I would like to visit there for about a week or so in maybe September, October, or something like that. September, October would be a pretty good time to come here because the weather usually is pretty nice that time of year. They've got the same type seasonal weather pattern, climate, sorry, there we go, as like Chicago, more or less. If you follow the line of longitude all the way across, you hit Serbia. So we're about the same. So that's a really nice time of year, and there's still some festivals and stuff going on. August is about, like, it's hot, but there's tons of things to do in August, but September too. If you're going to stay here for about a week, you're going to go to a hotel. It depends on where you're going to go, buddy, because each place is different. If you like 5-star hotels, they've got them here in Belgrade. They've got really expensive ones that maybe $1,000 a night, or they've got really, really cheap ones. You know, you got hostels. You can stay in a hostel here in Serbia for $10 a night, maybe even less. Some of them like 700 diners, which is about $8. You can stay a night in a hostel. So if you do that and you're here for 7 days, that'd be what, 6 and 8, 48, $56 for your hostel. Food every day. You could spend, it depends if you're cheap, you know. If you're really cheap, you can eat a pastry, a burek, which is a big piece of meat thing, for like $1.50, you know, a meal. That would be like $5, you know. So it just depends. I mean, average, I would say if you spend $15 a day here in Serbia, you could eat very, very nicely. If you want a beer here in Serbia, if you go to a really nice nightclub, it's probably 500 diners. If you go to a cheap one like I like to go to, it's 100 diners, which is $1.50. So, you know, if you're going to be here for a week and you brought $500, you could have a really nice time. You bring $1,000, you could have the time of your life, okay? What other cities in Serbia have you been to, besides Belgrade, if any? Well, I've been to many here in Serbia. Serbia, the biggest cities, the largest city is Belgrade, which has over 1 million people, almost 1.5 million, they say. The second and third biggest is up in the air. Everybody complains, or everybody bitches about that. It's either Novi Sad or Niš being the second and third, but there's contradicting arguments on that. So, but they have about 300,000 people, and that's the second biggest city. And then Kragujevac is there, Subotica. I've been to many places. I've been to northern Serbia. I've lived in Zrenjanin and Sremska Mitrovica, which is on the west side, smaller towns. I've been to Novi Sad, which is a very beautiful town. If you come to Serbia, you've got to go to Novi Sad. It's about an hour and something from Belgrade on the bus. But the most beautiful city in Serbia, in this part of Europe, really. It's gorgeous. Then I've been down to Niš and Pirot and Kragujevac and Kruševac in central Serbia. I mean, I've been all over, you know. Very nice. There's a lot of things to see here. What is your favorite Serbian city of all time and why? Wow, that's a tough question. It depends on what it deals with. If it's living is probably, the best is probably South Serbia. You know, down by Niš is a great place to live for a couple months because everything's cheap. You know, the price of everything, the economy is really trouble down there. All the new business and stuff comes to Belgrade, so those down in the south, they don't really have that much. So the people live on very little money, so you can rent a place really cheap. And Niš has everything you want. It's got malls, it's got sport, it's got, you know, just about everything. And the scenery's beautiful, the climate's beautiful. If you're looking for party scene, Belgrade's the best. If you're looking for architecture and beautiful buildings and different type cultures, probably somewhere in Vojvodina and Subotica or Zrenjanin or Novi Sad, because they've got many mixtures there. They've got Slovakian villages, they've got Hungarian villages, they've got Romanian villages, all these things, just totally different cultures all mixed together. So it just depends. Central Serbia is gorgeous. Over in West Serbia, like Arilje, it's a small little town. There was #1 in the world for raspberry production. So you go down there during like the fall harvest and there's like, oh my God, raspberries everywhere, rivers and streams. It's really pretty. Did you ever notice any tall girls over there, like 6', 6'2"? Hell yes. And something like that. That's the type of woman that I like. Wow. Thank you and have a nice day. You too, Martin, man. Thank you for the questions. Serbian girls, yes, they're very tall. I just went out with this one yesterday and we were talking. She's taller than me. I'm 5'10", which is 70 inches. 70 inches in centimeters they use over here is 177 centimeters, I think. I think I looked that up. 177, yeah, 177 centimeters is what I am. And back home, 5'10", I'm regular height. And here, girls are always taller than me, man. You know, everywhere I walk, that's one of the things that I always notice about Serbia. The things you'll notice is you see very few fat people here, large people, you know, everybody's skinny and fit. There's some, of course, but not anywhere near what we have. And the women are very tall. I'll sit in a cafe and just watch people. And you see these young girls come in, 18, 19, and they're tall, man. I mean, very tall race of people. Bunch of people here. So anyway, buddy, that's really it. That's my questions. I'm sorry it took so long, and I want to rush because my videos are really long, and I hate to do that to people. So anyway, hope you have fun, man. Before you come here, let me know. I'd like to meet you. You know, I'd love to interview you before you come, and then when you leave, and find out what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like, and all that good stuff. All right, brother. Vidimo se. Hvala. Doviđenja.